Hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining us again today. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comment section below so we can all engage in a conversation. How many times have you found yourself in that position where you've been so stressed out, overwhelmed, and for some reason or another you made a mistake? But for that very moment, the fact that it was your mistake is not something that you're thinking about, is how everything has worked against you to create that mistake. Did you leave late? Did you underestimate the time it would take you to get there? Did you see the phone call coming in, but you thought, I'll wait a little bit longer and I would deal with that later? Did you book the ferry time late and then it turned out that the time you wanted is now gone? Did you just think, without actually trying the link that you were sent, that it's fine, it would work? And now all of it is turned out to not have gone the way you wanted it to go. Now you find yourself in a position that you fail to realize you had a choice. This idea of choice is one that came during a course I had to attend recently, and it was one I reluctantly engaged in. Not because I dislike attending courses, but when it becomes one that you're mandated to attend, then we raise a few eyebrows to that. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, driving course is not one that fills me with excitement. I say that, but I was taking my motorcycle lessons and all of that recently, so that's exciting. But the one I'm actually talking about is when you've been caught doing what you're not supposed to be doing, simply because you were so distracted. In my case, I've tried everything to be extremely careful, but we all make mistakes. And I'd been found driving faster than I should have been. And I think this may have happened because I was in cruise control, not because the car was set up in cruise control, but because I was so set on getting to where I was going and know where I'm going. And I was focused on the end goal. I'd booked my ferry. I needed to get to my ferry. But there were things that were building up to this that I had not taken too much stock of. Firstly, I'd left late because later than expected, actually, because I needed to address a phone call, which was work related. I'm trying to get to the other destination, which is also work related. That call that should have taken 5 minutes ended up taking 15, 20 minutes. So that's an additional time that would have been used for my driving. It's all gonna be fine, and you start driving, and then you realize the traffic is heavier than you anticipated. And that's more time. And you begin to build this sense of frustration, which then heightens the need for urgency. I suppose what I'm doing here is justifying my action. But the flip side of that is I had a choice. I could have not taken that phone call. I could have responded by saying, busy right now. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Or I could have got somebody else to make that phone call, which in turn would have meant I could have left earlier and accounted for traffic. So, yes, I checked the night before and it was going to take me 3.5 hours to get there. But I could have again checked to see the current strength of the traffic and maybe added an additional half hour, 45 minutes to my journey, which then meant that I could have made it. I say all of this because even with all of this rush, I still missed the ferry and I still had to wait for an hour and a half to catch the next one. So was it worth it? No. But what attending the course reminded me of was the choices we make and how there's always two options. And we do this in life. I am feeling overwhelmed. We've got a choice. We either highlight that so that our line manager are aware or is aware of how we're feeling and the potential impact it could have on the deadline for the project that we're due to deliver, or we keep quiet and assume that they would understand the consequence that might come from that. Not sharing could be that they believe the reason you haven't delivered that project is because you're lazy, and the reason you're now providing this rationale is because you're making excuses. Isn't it interesting that events are judged based on the timing of it? If you had said it earlier, then that's a perfect rationale. You say it later, that's excuses. If I had said, like I was, oh my days, working so far away from home is the reason I got this ticket. Is it really? I had a choice. I could have decided I wanted to work closer to home. Would that make it better? Yes, it could have. But does the fundamental issue lie? Yes, it wouldn't matter where it was that I was trying to get to if those things that could have been done at a later stage weren't done. It doesn't matter if you're traveling 5 minutes down the road or you're traveling an hour down the road or 3 hours down the road. The principle remains. The choice we make comes with a consequence. And sometimes the consequences are not always pleasant. Because, look at it the other way, from my point of view, I could have been in so much of a hurry that I ended up having an accident, which could have been catastrophic for someone or myself or family members, because the things we do don't just affect us, but a wider audience, a wider population, a wider people. And I think the continual reminder of the choices that we have cannot be underestimated. You're just about to set up for bed. You really need to be up early. But for some reason, this is the time we need to watch that last episode, that last program, the new film you've been waiting for a long time. And before you know it, it's one. Or you just want to play that game because you've not had the opportunity to do it. You've been so busy all week, all month, or over the last quarter of the year. And you just feel, you know what, I deserve a break. And yes, you do deserve a break. But does it have to be right now? 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, then you realize, oh, I need to be up early. Then you go to sleep. And before you know it, the alarm starts ringing and you're like, oh, I've only just shut my eyes. And the first thing you go to is, oh, I can't wait until the day I'm retired. Wishing your life completely away. Preaching and hoping that your old age comes in sooner than it needs to. When we had a choice, we could have set it a little bit long earlier. Instead of playing 3, instead of watching 5 episodes, you could watch 1 and build that excitement for when the time comes to be able to do the other. I say that because I am also guilty of spending a lot more time trying to catch up on stuff. For example, when I'm excited about building a project, I devote all of my time into doing that because every minute counts. And then I realize, oh my days, I should have slept a little bit earlier. And it just goes on and on. But there are times where I am better at it and I go to sleep earlier and you feel revived, revitalized, refreshed for the next day. And you're like, that's it. That's the thing I need to do more of. And then you fall into that habit again of just doing the same old thing. The main thing I believe is that we recognize and we begin to work on that. But most importantly, we begin to make better choices, knowing that a lot of it sits with us. And if we don't do it, the consequences are not always going to be the things that we enjoy the most. But we're going to have to suck it up. So is it better to continually suck up the consequences that we do not enjoy? Or is it better to recognize the power that we hold in our hands around choices and take control of the situation that's before us? The one that we can at least control. We already live in an environment and a world where a lot of things are beyond our control, when there are some that are within our control, it is ludicrous sometimes that we don't exercise those powers. It doesn't quite change like that, but it is one that we can work on gradually, taking one thing away. Instead of four, it's three. Instead of three, it's two. And before you know it, you are better than you were yesterday. And that should be the yardstick of which we make the measurement. Am I a better person today than I was yesterday? And if so, how? What are those choices that I made today that were better than yesterday? And how can I improve that for tomorrow? Let me know in the comment section below what you think, and if any, what choices you have made that you believe that we can all learn from. Until next time, guys, you make sure you look after yourself and you stay safe. It has been Kings. Peace. Bye for now.